Gentlemen, take your clothes off. Whoa, I'm totally just kidding, but I appreciate your enthusiasm. Gentlemen, today we're going over 6 mistakes making your body look bad. When it comes to our bodies, right, certain body characteristics we can cover, we can camouflage with clothing. And the beautiful thing is that if you know like how to dress, you can totally like camouflage your perceived negatives and maximize your positive attributes. But when the clothes start coming off and you start stripping down, you like that? You like that's my best move, Jack? What? What's up, Magic Mike? The name's Alpha. Give me a call. Seriously, not serious. Here's the deal. Gentlemen, when it comes to our bodies, when we get naked, that is what we got to talk about. The first reason why you don't look as good as you think you do with your clothes off is you don't work legs. Gentlemen, it is all about the wheels. You got to make sure that you have a well-balanced fitness program. Gentlemen, one of the mistakes that a lot of young dudes make, they'll go to the gym and they'll be like, damn, right? They'll do their biceps because, well, biceps are awesome. They'll do their bench. Sometimes they'll do back. Every day they're doing their crunches to work their abs and checking themselves out, right? But they forget and they neglect their lower body. Gentlemen, if you're all jacked and super muscular up top, but then she looks down, you're rocking chicken legs, gentlemen, and a flat ass, not good. The second mistake that makes your body look worse is having and rocking a monster man bush. Big Al looks less big when you got a bunch of fuzz and fur rocking around it. And the reason is because, well, it's camouflaging it, right? But look what happens, right? You get rid of that and oh my God, it looks amazing. It looks gigantic. When it comes to manscaping your junk, gentlemen, you can pretty much have creative liberty to do whatever you want. You can sculpt a cool little pattern. You can take the length down. You can go short. You can go bald, or you can pop an attachment on to your grooming tool and leave it a little bit more natural. But when it comes to back hair, gentlemen, I'm going to run my fingers through his back hair. Said no woman ever. 0. That is the magic number of back hair that you should be rocking. So let's talk about your manscaping strategies and options. When it comes to back hair, gentlemen, you've got 4. You could A, ask your mom or girl to do it, grab your clippers and just go to town, right? And you could ask them to do this like once a week. That is option A. Option B is to do it yourself, right? You could grab like a back blade and do it yourself, right? It gets rid of it. Now, the other option is a little more permanent. Wax or depilatory cream. Depilatory cream is a cream you rub on your back, you wait a little bit, you wipe it off, and the hair is gone. This does not actually pull the hair out from the root. That is wax. Wax will actually extract the hair, making the hair removal a little bit longer. Now, if you're like, yo, I don't want to mess with any of it, you can always have it lasered. So manscaping is not only an aesthetic thing, right? It makes your body look better and bigger and más grande and all sorts of sexy. And you can also see like the muscles, like if you don't have a bunch of hair covering it, it also has other implications, which we're going to talk about with number 3, which is inner thigh chafing and discoloration. So something weird happened to me last year. I was looking at myself naked, which is something I do often, and I started to notice that the inner parts of my thighs were actually getting like darker colored. And I was like, what the hell is this, right? So I went online, I started researching, and what had been happening is I was routinely getting like chafed down in this area. I started doing a bunch of research about like how to avoid and how to eliminate like chafing, because that ultimately was what the problem was. And I saw one of Antonio Centeno's videos and I called him. I'm like, yo, what are you doing? You were advertising sheath. And he's like, yeah, have you tried the underwear sheath? And I'm like, no, but I know Robert because he comes to the Menfluential Conference. He's like, try sheath. Boom, sheath underwear. Gentlemen, I've talked about them before. They're today's video sponsor, and they have been an absolute game changer for me and my junk. So I've talked about sheath underwear before. If you missed the video that I did talking about 5 mistakes that are damaging your package, I'm going to link to it down below. But the bottom line is that sheath are the best underwear I've ever worn. And the reason, it's all about this pouch inside. So from the outside, sheath just look like super badass, sexy boxer briefs, right? Here's the deal. The magic, however, is on the inside, all right? There is a little pouch in there, not that little. Anyway, you put your boys in the pouch and then Big Al goes through that hole. And what's happened, you've actually separated your body from the boys and Big Al. They are 3 like compartments, gentlemen. By creating that separation, you're gonna stay cooler, you're gonna stay drier, and you're going to stop chafing. I know what you're thinking, right? You're like, yo, is that comfortable? And that's exactly what I thought. I'm like, there's no way this is comfortable. And then I put it on. Guys, here's the thing. Because it is so perfect in terms of ergonomical like design with your body, guys, it is not only comfortable, it actually is more comfortable than traditional underwear because you're not all like packed in your pants and like holding tight. It's also gonna make you smell better because you're not all jammed and packed in your pants with the sweat and all the bacteria that, exactly, it's nasty business down your pants. Guys, if you have not checked out Sheath or grabbed a pair, you've got to hit that link down below. There's also a discount code which is gonna give you a special deal. What I'd recommend is get like a 3-pack because once you get one, you're gonna be like, damn, I'm gonna wear them the next day. And so you definitely probably should buy more than one pair. The other cool thing, guys, they offer 100% money back guarantee. So if you get them and you're like, yo, they're not as comfortable, I don't love them as much as Alpha said, you can actually get your money back. The whole story and reason why Sheath was developed and designed is pretty amazing. Their founder, Robert, was a soldier. He was over in the desert and he was like tramping through like the desert, right? And he's like, damn, I'm getting chafed, I'm getting irritated. And so he's like, if I could just somehow like not have my junk all packed in my pants. And so he started like experimenting and like cutting up like socks and doing like different like duct tape things. And what he developed and what he found is that if you can actually separate the twig from the berries and the body, you stay cooler and you eliminate the sweating and chafing. If you can reduce the sweating, the chafing, and the irritation, you're going to reduce the dark pigmentation on the inside of your thighs. And when I started wearing Sheath underwear, that started to go away. So gentlemen, if you are somebody that actually suffers from dark pigmentation or irritation or sweaty balls, you definitely got to hit that link down below and check out Sheath. The fourth mistake that makes your body look bad is ugly ass tattoos all over it. Gentlemen, so here's the deal. I realize that I am not necessarily the best judge of tattoo character. Case in point, my moon and the bumblebee. So here's the deal, gentlemen. Tattoos have become like the thing, right? Everybody's like, yo, I'm gonna go get tattooed. I'm gonna get inked in. Oh my God, like, check it out. Here's the deal. You gotta think before you go through the process because I gotta tell you, from experience, getting them removed is a lot more painful and expensive than actually putting them on, which is actually what I did. So if you've got tattoos that you're like, oh, what did I do? Why did I get that barbed wire on my arm? I'm such an idiot, right? I know, right? It was popular. A lot of dudes did it. Well, here's the deal, gentlemen. You can get them removed. The way that it works, you buy a package of laser treatments, all right? Just do a Google search for laser tattoo removal in your area. You go in, you buy a package. Each time you go in for a treatment, it gets a little bit lighter, a little bit lighter, a little bit lighter. And so you wanna actually, I'll show you where my moon used to be. See that little blue dot? That's the star from my moon. It was right there. It's pretty cool, right? It totally went away. Also, the one on my, you want to see my back? Check it out, right? This one went away like actually a lot quicker than the one on my leg. Anyway, guys, the deal is if you've got tattoos that you like hate and you're like kind of embarrassed of, there are definitely options to remove them. If it means you got to save up a little bit, it is definitely worth it because honestly, I was so embarrassed of my tattoos that I was like, I hated them. The fifth mistake that makes your body look bad is actually steroids. What? Exactly. This doesn't even make any sense. I thought steroids made you look jacked. Gentlemen, it does make you look jacked, but it also oftentimes will increase the likelihood of man boobies. Gynos. I'm not debating whether or not you should or should not use performance-enhancing drugs. Actually, I am gonna come out and say you should not use performance-enhancing drugs, whether or not it's testosterone or TRT and you don't need it. The fact is, gentlemen, your body is amazing. And I know that it's tempting. I know that a lot of dudes, a lot of young dudes see these dudes online that are taking it like, oh, no big deal. The fact is, it is a big deal. And making that decision, you should not take it lightly. It does have adverse effects. The other upside to staying natural and never taking them, gentlemen, is that the gains that you gain naturally are going to stay with you longer. Another downside to taking performance-enhancing drugs is that it messes with your mind, right? If you're somebody that is taking them, you see the results, you're like, damn, I look good, I feel good, right? If you decide to go off of them, all of a sudden you start to shrink. You don't look as good. You start to get depressed because you look at yourself in the mirror, you see your body start to change, not for the better, and you're like, yo, I'm never gonna look as good as I did when I was on the sauce. The sixth mistake that is making your body look bad is acne, right? Back knee, chest knee, shoulder knee. I don't know if that's actually like a... Anyway, getting acne on your body is not only embarrassing, it sucks. If you're somebody that is experiencing body acne, whether or not it's on the chest, the stomach, the shoulders, the arms, the back, you got to make sure if you are exercising that when you get hot, when you get sweaty, you change your shirt. You also get a shower afterwards, making sure to clean your body and exfoliate your skin. Using some sort of exfoliant like a body puffer scrubber or even something like this that's like motorized. This is cool because you can actually reach like more of your back. Gentlemen, the bottom line is if you are breaking out, you got to make sure you're exfoliating. One of the other reasons why you might be breaking out is because you're not exfoliating after manscaping. Every time you get in the shower, if you are shaving your body, whether or not it is your legs, your arms, your chest, or your back, you got to make sure you're giving the hairs that have been shaved the opportunity to actually break free. But if they're getting stuck basically under the skin, oftentimes you're going to get ingrown hairs or break out with zits. So it's not a surprise to this guy that you are getting a ton more attention from the spicy senoritas. But here's the deal, gentlemen. I got to make sure that once things get to that point where you're going somewhere and things are coming off or whatever, that you're proud, you're confident, you're happy with your body. If you're doing any of the 7 things we talked about today, you're probably a little bit embarrassed. But the good news is that you can handle it, you can change it. And if you implement the Alpha M plan, you will not only look great in your clothes, you'll look great out of them as well.